complete breakfast.
Huh? What? It happened? It's real? LittleBigPlanet is actually back, and not only that, but it's in 3D. Three-dimensional. Okay, so I knew this video had to be made as soon as the PS5 event ended, and if Spider-Man, Ratchet Clank, and everything else that was shown didn't sell me on a PS5, well, this right here, this game 1,000% did. Sackboy A Big Adventure is the very first game in the LittleBigPlanet series to be in 3D. Well, besides LittleBigPlanet karting, but that's a bit different. It's racing, it's with cars and stuff, you had to make tracks and everything. It's a whole different thing. And while this game looks cool, I do have some concerns. I have some questions. But let's just talk about it for a little bit, because this is big, right? This is huge for this franchise, because most people, including myself, thought the LittleBigPlanet series was dead. Just another Sony franchise just sitting there begging for a new game, like Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, everything they made that isn't God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Ratchet Clank. Now let's get a new Parappa the Rapper game while we're at it, okay? Let's bring him back. But no, after 6 long years, after only having LittleBigPlanet 3 for this console generation, it truly does look like things are turning around for LBP. Now, this isn't a mainline series game, of course. It's a spin-off. A spin-off that may be bad, and it might flop. But if it is good, and it looks good, if it sells well, which I think it will, LittleBigPlanet can make a comeback, and come back as this staple PlayStation franchise once again for the foreseeable future. We can maybe see a LittleBigPlanet 4 and maybe 5. We can see LittleBigPlanet remasters, or possibly a continuation of this new 3D Sackboy game. Let's talk about the actual game for a little bit. Sackboy A Big Adventure seems to be a full-fledged 3D platformer with some 2D elements added in. And I know it might be crazy to some people, but this is a system seller for me. We didn't see a whole lot of this new game, just a 2-minute trailer, but it was enough for me to get hyped about it, and I am sure the LittleBigPlanet community is freaking out right now. One of the big questions on my mind is if this game is going to have any sort of level editor, level creator, and if there's even going to be an online community hub to publish those levels. And if there is all of that, what kind of tools, logic, materials, and items are going to make a return from the mainline series? So far, we've seen point bubbles, prize bubbles, the grappling hook, and even a lot of new items as well. But is Sumo Digital willing to fit all of this other stuff, all of the more complex logic, into a 3-dimensional game? Because yes, we are in a new dimension, mind you. Now yes, level creation and publishing seems like a given. You see Sackboy in a game and you expect some type of level creation. This is LittleBigPlanet, right? Well, yeah, I will consider this a LittleBigPlanet spin-off. However, the name LittleBigPlanet isn't seen anywhere. It's literally called Sackboy A Big Adventure, and the game itself seems a bit more toned down compared to the mainline games. The environments and enemies look just a little bit more detailed and animated than they should if it were just made using the in-game level creator. And the last time we saw Sackboy in the name of a LittleBigPlanet game, it was for a mobile game, Run Sackboy Run, and that had no level creation whatsoever. No levels, it was a mobile game, sure, but the same goes for Sackboy's Prehistoric Moves, which was a PlayStation Move exclusive single-player adventure on the PS3. And this kind of reminds me of those games. And while there might be some type of level creation, it might be simplified, like, a lot, compared to LittleBigPlanet 3, 2, and 1. I hope it isn't. I really hope it is like those games, but maybe not. I don't know if Sony is trying to maybe test the waters a little bit after the backlash of LBP 3 and maybe not mention the LittleBigPlanet series by name. Maybe they're trying to go in a new direction with Sackboy himself, making him this big mascot again, making new games around this 3D playstyle. And in the end, maybe simplifying the level creation, or removing it completely, was something they thought was a good idea. None of this is confirmed or even that likely, but it is just speculation, just based off of what I've seen so far. That said, I really do hope that's not the case. I want to see levels made by the community, and I want to make my own in a 3D space. But another question I have is, are you going to be able to play with your friends online? I know, it seems obvious, right? I don't expect Sony of all companies to leave out online multiplayer when it seems completely obvious to do. But in the trailer, we saw 4 players. We saw 4 players playing simultaneously with each other. And there's no confirmation whether or not that's just online multiplayer or local play. It could just be local, and we might not be able to play with friends. Who knows? In fact, I don't even think we know if this is PS5 exclusive. This could be on the PS4 as well. And if they want to go the canceled LittleBigPlanet hub route, this game could end up being free to play too. Again, we don't know much, so I'm just throwing stuff out there. But another thing about this game that I know people are concerned about, I'm not too concerned about it, but people are definitely concerned about it, is that Sumo Digital is coming back for this game, alright? Sumo Digital is the developer that took over for LittleBigPlanet 3 after Media Molecule just dropped the franchise to work on Dreams. LBP 3 was at its core a good game and had some good ideas, but at launch, and even today for me and many others, this game was and still is very glitchy, and it's very obvious as to why. Sony rushed Sumo Digital into getting LBP 3 out before holiday 2014. Sure, Sumo had enough time to finish the game. They had time to add in all of the new mechanics they wanted, all 16 layers. That was completely unnecessary, and could have been part of the issue as to why the game was broken. All the other stuff they added, they just tried to add so much stuff, alright? They just packed in a lot of content, maybe too much content, alright? Let's be honest here. But the main issue was that they didn't have enough time to playtest their game and iron out the bugs. You know, releasing a game in a broken state is never a good idea. Never a good idea. Look at Fallout 76. People don't like that game very much, and I'm sure it has improved over time, but first impressions are always important. Those are the people that are spending $60 on your game, and it's important to impress those people, or they're going to be very upset. Sure, it might be fun, it might be cool to a kid that got it for Christmas 5 years later, or someone that picked it up at GameStop for $5, but the people that paid $60, they want to get their money's worth out of it. If the game had more time to be worked on, it could have been a lot better. But I don't want to get into that. I made a whole video on LittleBigPlanet 3. I've talked to death about this. Long story short, I'm fine with Sumo working on this new game. Sumo Digital is not my favorite game developer by a long shot. It's usually hit or miss with their games, but since they've worked on the LittleBigPlanet series in the past, they've had a lot of time to work on this one, and who knows how much time Sony's going to give them to finish it. I trust them. I trust them. I think they can do it, right? They just need time. They just need time. Then again, they made Crackdown 3, which had a lot of time, a lot of delays. You know, who knows? Who knows how this game's going to turn out? Just by looking at it, looks good. I like it. I want to play it now. I need it now. But just so you know, for the time being, this is Sumo Digital's franchise now. This is their series. This is their game. Media Molecule isn't involved anymore with LittleBigPlanet. And I'm sure you can already tell this is not the LBP game we're used to. It's something new, something I've always dreamed of, to be honest. I've always wanted a 3D LittleBigPlanet game, and I have high hopes. So, don't let me down a second time, Sumo. Please, don't make this game a disaster. I'm sure you can pull it off. So yeah, I'm just happy. I'm so relieved that this series is not dead. We finally got something new. A 3D game. And you know what? That's probably the reason why LittleBigPlanet Restitched got canceled. They're working on a new game. It was all along. They were working on a new game. They canceled the fan project because of this, right? That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. A new LBP game. A 3D game. It's just insane to me. Again, many of the other games that were shown off today were also amazing. I can't wait to play Spiderman and Ratchet Clank again. Demon Souls, Resident Evil 8, and a lot of the new IPs look great too. I didn't think I needed a PS5 until maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, but I need it, man. I want to play these games, and I can't wait to talk about LittleBigPlanet on this channel again, knowing there's a new game coming out. Thank you so much for watching, though. If you're as excited as I am, feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. If you want, you can watch my LittleBigPlanet retrospectives that I made a few years ago. I'm hoping I'm going to make more in the near future. I want to make more, but you know me with making videos. Just kind of doesn't happen sometimes. But Sackboy's back. What a timeline we live in. Goodbye.